How many times can a piece of paper be folded in half? We have all done it once, and indeed, it can only be doubled 7 times. Whatever you wear, 8 times at most. Do you want us to do a test? Here I have 2 pieces of paper, a normal sheet and a rather large piece of paper. We are going to use A3. I'm going to fold it very carefully. Well, let's see how I do with this. I'm going to double the first time. I have always been super clumsy with crafts. You can imagine those of you who are in solidarity with me. Twice. Let's see if this works out for me, because I was the typical kid who has a hard time cutting with the scissors without a tip. 3 times. Then with the glue it was worse, because as soon as I opened the jar there was no way to close it. 4 times. I always had a thread of glue left. Has it happened to you? 5. This already costs. I tell you, I'm clumsy. 6 times. Yes, 7 times. Do you see it? I can't take it anymore. Also, it seems that it doesn't matter the size of the paper. I do this with A2 or with A4 or smaller. The number of folds will be the same. Are we facing a universal constant, one of the immovable laws of physics or mathematics? Has anyone checked this folding with a larger paper? Of course, I present to you Brittany Galvin, 17 years old and from California. Brittany, very worried about checking if the number of possible folds of a paper were always the same, regardless of the size of the paper, decided to do the gold test. He went with his mother to a shopping center. He caught one of those single-layer kitchen paper, very thin, the kind that if you use it to clean yourself in the bathroom, you are always on the verge of risk, fearing the worst. So he spread it out whole, it was about a mile long, and he started folding it in half. Again in half. Walking with the roll, folding it back and forth. And in the end, what do you think happened? Well, he managed to fold it 12 times. There you have it, with the paper folding 12 times. It looks like it's some towels he stole from the hotel, but no, it's the paper. World record. Then there were some kids after that, with Brittany's method, they managed to fold a 5-kilometer paper 14 times. But who cares? The best was Brittany. The one who really stepped up. Now, have you seen what takes up Brittany's pile? Now I ask you, if I had a big roll, as big as I wanted, and they had many colleagues and a lot of room, and managed to fold a sheet of paper 54 times. Let's put a sheet of 0.1 millimeter thick. How big would the pile be? Would he be taller than me? Would it be taller than this room? Would it be taller than a 7-story building? Surely many of you have thought, you are out of your mind. A 7-story building. Well, freak out, if we folded a normal, ordinary, 4-dimensional sheet of 0.01 mm thick 54 times, the pile would cover the distance from the Earth to the Sun. Don't you believe it? You're in front of a mathematician, buddy. Let's do the math and check it out. This paper measures 0.01 mm thick. When I fold it the first time, the thickness is double, that is, 0.02 millimeters, that is, 2 times 0.01 millimeters. I fold it again and then the thickness doubles again. Now it's 0.04 millimeters, 2 times 0.01 millimeters. So, if we continue like this, in the end, when I have doubled 54 times, I will have to multiply the 0.01 millimeter, 54 times by 2, okay? And how much is that? Mathematicians write it like this: 2 multiplied 54 times by 0.01. This is the same, more or less, as 2 times 10 raised to 16. 2 times 10 raised to 16, for 0.01 millimeters. And this, if we pass it to millimeters, we have to remove these 2 zeros from here. 2 times 10 raised to 14 millimeters, that if we pass it to meters are 2 times 10 raised to 11 meters, that if we pass it to kilometers are 2 times 10 raised to 8 kilometers.
Que si lo pasamos a kilómetros son 2 por 10 elevado a 8 kilómetros.
That is, about 200 million kilometers, a little more than the distance from the Earth to the Sun. The distance from the Earth to the Sun is about 150 million kilometers, so folding the paper you go through about 50 million kilometers. Freak out. Well, let you know that, if you folded it 103 times, you would have a width greater than the observable universe. Better than Interstellar. Did you like the video? Well, I bet you 2 against 1. Because if you click here you will find others that freak you out as much as this one, simple matter of probability. And subscribe.